Hello, my name is Eilon. I'm an Israeli producer that's been living for the past few years here in Torino, working for the Torino Film Lab in one of the sections that we have, which is called the TFL Extended. Another branch of the many branches that Torino Film Lab has. I hope and guess that some of you or most of you know what is the Torino Film Lab that's been running for the past 11 years, an international place where you have different kind of workshops for different kind of projects from various countries. I think by now we've worked with projects based really from all over the world. And we follow either year-long or 4-day-long projects in trying to help them, first of all, to develop their story and their vision. But second of all, we try as well to help them meet the international market, no matter where they come from. Summit of all of it is these days the meeting events where we have hundreds of industry people from all over the world coming to listen to the project that we've been working for in the past year. So in order to talk a little bit more of the benefits that you can get out of Italian-based but international lab like TFL, we have two distinguished Italian producers, Tommaso and Alessandro, that both of them have worked with their projects with the Torino Film Lab in various stages. And it will be amazing after we see the trailers of their films to hear a little bit of what was your experience, what is it that you felt that you gained from the lab and you couldn't have gained in a different way, anyway. But maybe we'll start by some visual and watch your trailers. So we give you the sign of the trailers. Thank you.
Hola. Hola. Soy Paula, nueva de Italia.
¿Qué pasa? Que tengo 2 semanas en encierro. ¿Solo estas perras me dejaron salir?
Ustedes ya conocen la parábola del pastor que deja 99 ovejas para buscar a la que se perdió. Hoy rezamos juntas por nuestra Luciana.
Mami.
Juro que no me di cuenta de nada. Yo me desperté y ella ya no estaba más.
Si vos querés proteger a Luciana, tenés que decirnos lo que sabés.
¿Y vos qué mierda haces acá? ¿Qué haces en mi pieza?
See the other one as well. Thank you. And then you'll need to guess who's who.
Hai trovato?
Tu ferma Chiara, dai, su.
Eccolo.
Ecco,
Eccolo.
ha rotto.
Ora mezzo vuoto, vedi? Che facciamo? Magari è un segno del destino, no?
Un preservativo rotto.
Beh, i segni sono segni.
Giriamo con quella macchina tutta scassata, non abbiamo neanche i soldi per comprarci un divano nuovo.
Guido, ma il libro come va? Procede, un po' a rilento. Che succede?
Ho bisogno di stare un po' da sola per pensare. Ti ha chiesto spazi, devi lasciarli.
Poi guarda che qua ci torni benissimo,
Ragazzi, non è che magari disturbo, potete stare un po' da soli.
Sei sicuro che non c'è un altro?
Mi scopi con questo?
Ma che fai, mi
Ma
segui?
io che devo fare?
Tu ti chiedi mai se siamo felici o solo tranquilli? Vuoi un figlio?
Forse? Però intanto voi li fate e io no.
Come mamma mi spiace vederti soffrire, però come donna io un po' la capisco.
Di 40 anni, che dobbiamo aspettare?
Guido, ma non lo vedi che vita facciamo?
So, how did you came about with Torino Film Lab to start with?
Okay. Well, hello everybody. I produced The Guest, the last one, and Alessandro Materno, Hogar, international title. Well, I've been in touch with Torino Film Lab, I think from the very first editions. I was invited as a decision maker, as a producer, to attend to the pitches and make the one-to-one meetings to looking for projects. Then later I've been selected with another project for one of the lab, and finally I arrived and attended the Torino Film Lab feature lab 2 years ago with this project. The difference of this particular workshop is that is open both to the director and the producer, because the selection is on projects usually at the second work, not the first work, and they are selected in a moment in which they are very close to be produced, close to the shooting. So it's a sort of a warm-up before making the movie concretely after a long development. And in this phase, for the Torino Film Lab, it's very important to involve also the producer to help the couple, director, writer, producer, to make the last things to develop properly the movie before starting. So this was my occasion in that situation to understand better what to do because we attended in 2016, and then we shot it in November 2017. It was a long time between the two phases, but was useful to close the co-productions and to fix the crew and head of departments, because it was a co-production between 3 countries, France and Switzerland. And so we had different members of the crew from both of the countries. And when we attended, the feature lab is made of 3 moments during a year, in which you spend a week with the trainers and with also colleagues, because it's not only for one project, it's for 8, 10 projects. So it's a big chance to share our project with other people arriving from all over the world. So especially for an Italian project, that often we are not used to produce things that can travel. for us has been very important because we had this great opportunity to share with the colleagues that were attending to the project and have tips from them about the script, about everything, about the idea of the movie. And beside this also, especially from the trainers, because in the second lab, the one at the mid of the age, we had the chance to talk a lot about the movie with professionals who have read the script and the financial plan, so we're well prepared about the project. From different departments. There were, of course, writers, directors, script editor, but also director of photography or distributors. And so every person gave us its opinion about the movie, telling us what they found deep, important, strong in the story, and what was for them weak or dangerous in a way, no? And so it was a great chance to think, to open ourselves and our project to the opinion of other people and understand if what we were thinking was correct or not. And we had the time to solve, I think, some problems in the best way.
You have to, you cannot shoot while you are in the workshop. And you had almost a year-long workshop 3 times. It was worth it to wait and not run and shoot in order to work a little bit more on the project.
Yeah, no, we were almost ready with the script, but you know, you are never ready with the script. But we had to wait. Ask
the director, he will open it now and change, of course.
We had to wait for the financial part to be ready with each step. In that period, we were applying for Eurimage, for example. So we had good tips to present better the application, and that was very important, I think, to arrive also in that kind of, when you apply at international funds, the challenge is higher than in your own country, no? Because the competition is very, very strong. So it was really helpful also for me as producer to understand if I was following the right strategy to build a co-production, to understand how to apply, if it was better to wait for a fund from one of the co-producer, or and so wait to apply to Eurimage, or on the other hand to apply immediately because it was a good moment. So a lot of input that helped to build better the strategy of the project. So at the end we wait in November. We were here in 2016, sorry, to pitch the project, and also that one was a great moment because when I have to pitch after a year of work, you have to pitch in front of 200 people, and not people, it's not an audience, it's like an exam, because you are in front of decision makers, and with them you should have to work for the whole life anyway. So it's really important, no, to give the best, and so. Also, that occasion was important to understand, because briefly you have to summarize your project to professionals. So every time it's a check for you to know if you have clear in your mind what you are doing, and if you are ready to communicate in a small time exactly the idea of the movie, and convince them to invest if you still need some help, or I don't know, to continue to give you tips and help the project, because as this morning at the presentation Jane said, it's a long-term relationship, no? The one that Torino Film Lab built with the directors, the producers, all the people that are enter in this family in a way. So we had tips from them and help till now that we have released the movie in Italy recently at the end of August, and the movie is still around in different cities now in Italy, but was first released was in Locarno 2018, and from there in Piazza Grande, from there the movie started his long road between through festivals. Was in Torino last year in the showcase of Torino Film Lab movie, and then was released first in France, in the co-production country, in one of the two co-production countries, later in Switzerland, and last in Italy. That was the main country, the main production country. So it's strange, but it's the destiny sometimes of an Italian movie.
Okay, I will
stop
ask you,
for the moment.
No, I will ask you a little bit more about the internationality, but I would like to hear your experience as well from a different film, a different story, a different work with the Torino. So let's use yours.
Hi, everybody. Yes, the process is pretty much the opposite, except for the last part about distribution, because it's the same, mainly. Well, we get the audience design found. It's basically a found for found and a workshop, but we start with the found because it's money, exactly. So we apply after we shoot. So you can apply also before. And we are in the middle of the process. You saw the trailer in Spanish because the movie is now going to be released in December in Argentina, and in January in France, and in spring in Italy. So we focus first on the Argentinian release because it's a fund that support 3 countries for the distribution audience design strategy. So
can you tell them in 2 words what is audience design?
Yeah. Well,
for you,
it's for me. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge because now the distribution is the big issue. So audience design and the audience design strategy we are planning, it's a strategy indeed to build all the tools you can use to better distribute the movie in the country, but also internationally speaking, there is a coordination of the 3 countries to coordinate the communication, to coordinate the marketing, to coordinate all the image of the film in the distribution stage.
and you've been doing the workshop already. You've done the workshop, right?
No.
We are
well,
now as we speak.
we did the first part for the Argentinian distribution, and while I'm talking here with you, my colleague, my business partner, is doing the Italian part here in Turin now. And we just closed a new deal with Germany and Austria for distribution there. So the 3rd country will be one of the 2. And yes, we are in the middle of the process, but it helped us a lot in terms of finding also distributors because, well, in Italy doesn't work a lot, but for instance, it was a tool for our sales agent to find the other country to sell the movie. The scheme is for country from Europe, but one of the countries should be out of Europe, and so we were perfectly fit in the scheme.
Okay. No. I know I've done it
Yeah.
myself. It is, I would say, the last part of the Torino Film Lab, where we try to work with either films that have already been shot. Although the audience design in its idea is something that can start also in the script stage, but it's trying to help a project reach not as many audiences as you can, but maybe the right audiences. It's quite different. Of course, you want as many, but this strategy is something that was developed in the Torino Film Lab, and we've been doing these workshops actually all over the world. We are doing it constantly with Brazil, with BR Lab, for example. We do workshop for the Brazilian audience and different countries. But mainly we focus on, of course, working on scripts in what is called Script Lab and Feature Lab, the two main labs that are part of the TFL. But although we are sitting in Italy and you are both Italians with Italian films or films that will be distributed, we still regard your project, at least in the Torino Film Lab, as international project, of course, because we are international lab as well. So, do you think that if the project that you have, either yours or the people here in the audience or other, should first of all look outside to the world or focus more on the country itself? I'm not talking about content, I'm talking as producer. I mean, everyone knows that he goes to his fans and he can get money sometimes for development or invest money for development. What is the benefit of working in a lab that most of the tutors, most of the people that come are not from your country, they're from different cultures, they are tutoring you or not in the project that you've been working on for a long time, make it, from your own experience or the writer-director's experience, trying to do something very small. Is there a benefit of this other than hearing opinions? Because you can hear opinions also here. What is the benefit of having this group of people coming from so many people, from so many places in the world, working on your project?
I think it's a good thing to talk about issues that maybe you don't have in all the country. So when you have a problem in your own country, sometimes your mind is stuck in the problem without finding solution. And if something from outside, from another country, think about this problem, maybe can help you to find another point of view on the problem and maybe another solution. And so it's good to work in an international level, labs, markets, because you can share your experience and you can receive experience from other places, another country, and other way of thinking, other cultures, because also working in an international co-production, it means work with another country and another way of doing cinema, that it's always different, especially if you go outside Europe. But also in Europe, it's different country by country. So I think it's enriching the process of the movie, but also us as a producer, as a professionals.
Okay, I agree with Alessandro, and maybe in other words, for me, it's that what this experience brings is question marks, a lot of question marks, and different points of view, because the script is the same, but it depends on who reads the script. And so you can have really a point of view about your story that can surprise you, that can open other opportunities, can improve it or can destroy it, and this is very important because it's an effort to be to know perfectly or better to try to know deeply what you are doing, and I think this is very, very precious. And of course, I have the chance to share international opportunities. From a certain point of view, can be important for a project to grow up, because in Italy we used to produce by themselves, but of course to do that you have to do projects more for the market, because you have to bring money from the market, so from the television or from investors. If you want to do first works only with Italian money, you have to develop stories very local. But beside this, you can't think to go to a big budget, no? Also in our case, they are both not big budgets, but maybe higher than if we try to realize only in Italy. For the other thing is that we have the Alps, but behind the Alps there is Europe, and we are part of Europe. And for other countries smaller than Italy, it's the common way to co-produce, because for the Netherlands, for Belgium, for I don't know, for each East European country, it's the classic scheme. it's the base of producing. So for me, it's important to stay in this system, and to also because the different points of view during the development are important, but also when you shoot, if you have the chance to mix cultures also during the shooting, you can have. We had a Turkish DOP, for example, and of course there is a mix that can bring a different energy to your project.
Yes, I'm agree with you as well, but and I would like to add that attend a lab, an international lab or an international market. It's also useful to face all the industry, for the script editor to the festival programmer, and this is good as well because you give your project in the hand, in the opinion of people not only around you like producers or director, but also to people that maybe one day could select your film, your movie in a festival or a sales agent. So it's very useful to face this kind of other professionals around you and discuss about the movie, and yes, it's another good thing.
Even though it might, in theory, sound very scary to work on Italian project with a Dutch tutor for a script, or and a group of, I don't know who was in your group from any country, from Greek, for someone commenting on something that might be very local and very thing. It can sound very scary. In the concept of it, but somehow after 11 years,
it is. But we try to talk about human feelings and so in universal feelings, and also for this reason it's important also to share opinion. For Duccio, the writer director, is also his way of life, because he used to travel a lot, and so for him was very, very important to develop the script in this way. And he attended the Cine Fondation La Résidence for 6 months. It's also a development workshop, a big occasion, because for 6 months you are guest in an apartment in Paris. And as a writer-director, you have to stay there, and you are in a certain way paid to write. And so also you have to take that time to do what you are supposed to do. No, sometimes you don't find the energy, the attention to sit down and write. There, it's not. You were free to do what you want, but it was a big chance to do this homework in a way. And then we attended Torino Film Lab, and yeah, this is the great chance you have.
to work with other people. But let's talk for a second about the end when you said that you had to pitch to 200 people from all over the world, and it's true that they are not just an audience, there are something. And I think the reason why people come to Torino for this meeting event for these 2 days to hear the pitching, first of all, is because there is a tough selection, let's admit. People know that if they come, they know that they are meeting projects that have been selected, been working for a year and preparing themselves to get out. And it's also some kind of a stamp of quality, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk. It is, right? In what terms do you feel it is? I mean, you could...
Well, yes, it's a stamp of quality, and I think have the logo in the credits of the movie. It's like an honor because you're part of a process, and this process means hard selection and hard work on the project. So yeah. The logo at the end means all this work behind, and it doesn't mean only for us, but also for people that can understand what this logo means. So, yes, it's.
I think it's a certification in a way, no? Because it's not only logo now; it's a brand. And so, when you are selected in a festival, people knows that you have been a part of that process, no? And when you release the movie, on the poster there will be also the logo of TFL, yeah, it's a certification of quality, like for wine, for example. So it's prestigious to receive it. And it helps also for the financing process, no? Because if you have this opportunity, for him, he arrived at the end, so was good for the distribution. For me, it was very, very good to complete the financing, because when you apply to Eurimage, if you have been selected in Torino Film Lab, of course, there is an attention to that project maybe higher than the one on another project that has no certifications. I don't know. Of course, the script is the king it's the most important thing. You need to have a good project. But if you have passed through Torino Film Lab, maybe the script should be good.
Actually, I was asking this because, you know, it is a mark of quality, but it also a specific taste of projects, no? I would say that this, I mean, depends on whomever, this is very art house films.
Yes.
We are talking about. We are not talking about the huge comedies, blockbusters. So people, I mean, the good thing, yes, it is a quality, but you also, if you are part of the Torino Lab, it is part of a specific kind of films, I would say, no?
Yeah, it identifies the kind of movie. For example, our project was a little different because it's a comedy, and so it's rare to be selected at TFL. But what was, I think, good and interesting in our project was the irony of the humor of the writer-director, Duccio Chiarini, and so the potential of the comedy was in its own vision, no? And so in this way, it's another movie, it's an art house movie, and for this reason, we also have difficulties in distributing them sometimes. But also in my case, we also received a production award at the end of the feature lab. That was very, very helpful because it helped to fix the co-production, because you know you have to to have the shares of the co-production, you have to respect some balance between the share of copyright of each country. And in our case was good because we could decide, it was a free fund that we could decide to put in the financial plan of the country we decided. So it helped a lot. And also the money, of course, helped because another big problem for independent productions is the cash flow. When you have to start to shoot, you have to you can have money on paper with contracts and all you want, but the problem then is to have money, cash, that you need to pay the crew. And so this award was very helpful because it is easy to have the first money at the beginning, and so it helped to start immediately.
And your award also involved money.
Yes.
Have you managed to bring someone on board that wasn't there before? Sales agent, distributor?
Oh, distributor. Yeah. The Germany. Yeah.
Through the award and the fact that you got some money to help the distribution.
Sure. Yes. The third country. Yeah, because it's 40,000 euros, so you can split by 3 countries. Part of the money should be used for the coordination, and it's more or less part of the financial plan of a distributor to invest this money in distribution of the film. So he have like a very interesting incentive. Exactly. So yes, and I want to add something because yes, we the Torino Film Lab award at the end of a process in markets and another labs, because the film starts is developing in the Berlinale Talent. Yes, Berlinale Talent script station. Then we attend 2 markets, the Venice Midwest and the San Sebastian Foro de Coproducción. And through this process, we build also the style of the project. I'm not saying the style of the visual style, but in a certain way, as a Torino Film Lab at the beginning should help, but also this other market and lab help a lot to define the project in the market. Also for other, I don't know, a sales agent or a festival that know how the project that they have in front of, also because of the process. I think.
Yeah. Are there any questions? Someone wanted to ask something? This is the time. Okay, so I will just, I don't know if we have a lot of time, but I will just ask, what, again, hopefully, I don't know how many Italians are here, but you as Italian producers, what would be your suggestion to someone who wants to apply to the Torino Film Lab or to the Audience Design Lab? At what stage to know what is it that they want? Every project you would say can fit there from your experience and from the other projects that you've seen around you. What would be your suggestion to someone that wants to apply?
Well, for me, I had the chance to attend the Torino Film Lab before applying, as a decision maker. So I had the chance to receive the book guide, to attend the pitches. So year after year, I understood the editorial line of Torino Film Lab and understood which kind of projects could be interesting for them. Of course, the selection is so strong that you never know, and I have other projects that haven't been selected. So it's normal and it's good because it's open to everybody. And so one time it's for you, the next time it would be for another best project, better project. So yeah, I think that at the end, you realize also watching Torino Film Lab movies. When you read in the festivals that there is a movie selected by Torino Film Lab, if you follow the pages on the socials, you can understand which are the Torino Film Lab titles and look at that kind of movies, and you have to understand what they are looking for.
I was asking more of like, do you think if I sat at home and wrote 8 drafts of a film, and I don't have a producer, but I know exactly my film and I know exactly what it is, should I send the full script? Or if I have just an idea of 1 page, is it a good time? Or if I'm a producer without any ideas, just one, what do you think is the best time or what for the project? What kind of mentality should you have in order?
It depends on the training workshop, because you have the script lab that is open for first type, but I think you have to be convinced of what you have in your hands. You have open to yeah, of course, sorry. Yeah, no. If you are sure that you have done the best and it's exactly what you have to do, the risk is to waste time, and because if you accept to share your project, you have to open your mind and to be ready to change it, to improve it, and to listen to the trainers and to this different point of view that can suggest you a different way to approach the movie. Usually they don't give you answers. They give you question marks and they help you to understand which is the best way to what you want to say, where is the heart of the project, the most interesting thing in your idea, and so they help you to focus on it.
As a producer, how important it is to understand co-production, what you can gain, or how do you think it's good if you come knowing what is the benefits of co-production in general, or you can come, yeah, of course, or you can come and learn this as you go along as well there?
But
Because you have done co-production.
I think as
not all Italian producers.
for a producer, it's also in this case the writer-director can be convinced of the project that you have developed with him. But if you have the chance to verify with a lab if what you are doing it's the right way or not, it's the best. So for me as producer, the importance to apply to Torino Film Lab, but also to the other workshop and labs, is this reason, is to force the writer-director to verify if his ideas are clear.
In your case, it was a little bit different because you already had producers, right?
Yes, but I want to say something in general about your question, because as I told, as I said before, in this kind of lab, as a Torino, like a Torino Film Lab, or in markets, you can face decision maker. So present a project in a market or in a lab with the industry. It's very important to present the project in the right moment, because you give the project to the market at the end. So the project became public. And this is an important thing that you have to keep in mind. And I think the right moment, well, every lab, every market is different, but the right moment could be the moment in you are sure enough about your work, but your desire to enrich it with a lab and with facing with other people. And in the specific situation of the Torino Audience Design Award found, well, we apply with the project already shooted, so it's a little bit different. In ideal world, I think the application should be done before shooting, so you can build the strategy of distribution before. But you need a distributor to build the strategy. So in this period, it's very hard to find distributors before shooting, especially for first and second works. So it's it's a kind of a contradiction because Torino Film Lab help a lot this kind of movie, but this kind of movie are it's very tough for this kind of movie to get a distributor before the shooting. So, yes.
But now you have distributors for all the 3 countries that
Yes, yes.
and the film is coming out, can you repeat when it's coming out now, right?
In Argentina in December, in France in January, and in Italy we don't have a release date, but should be in spring. Well, the situation in Italy is that we have an auto distribution with the other Italian co-producer that is Vivo Film, yes, but well, the thing is we shop a lot around and we receive a couple of offers, but we are in the process, still in the process now, and we are moving in these days to decide the good strategy.
So let me end by asking you, why was it the toughest to do the distribution in your own country? Why do you think?
This is not a nice question. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Every country faces the same thing.
No, it's.
Not specifically. Every country
I think.
faces the hardest distribution in their own country.
Yeah, yeah. No, but I think it's a particular moment also, no, because everything is changing. It's easier to stay at home and watch on TV series or movies on the platforms instead of going to the cinema. So the market is changing, and.
But we're talking the fact that the other co-producers of the same film did release the film already.
Ah, okay, okay. In my case was a strange combination because we were in Locarno, so with the Swiss co-producer we immediately find a distributor because of course it's a big opportunity to present the movie in Switzerland and in Piazza Grande. For the French distributor was a combination also in that case because the sales agent was a company that has also distribution in France. So in June, they urban distribution, yeah, and so they decide to distribute before the summer this year. And for me, I've looked for a distributor for more than a year, but at the end, I haven't found it. I haven't found it at the condition, at good conditions. So at the end, I decided to distribute it by myself. And we decided to release the movie at the end of August. And I'm really satisfied of the strategy I adopted. Was risky, but at the end the result was very good, and I'm happy because I supported the movie, I think in the best way. I couldn't wait more because the movie was presented in Locarno a year before, so it was becoming old. And
Only here it was becoming old. The thing is that you've made a film that was internationally.
yeah, no, but
It's hard to make it locally.
but it was already sold in different countries, so yeah, it was in Italy. They are asking for the movie, but what are you waiting for? So at the end, it's done, and I'm happy of the result.
Just sum up, you have like 2 minutes to close.
Well, in France we are distributed by Memento. That is the biggest distribution in France, and we face a very hard situation in Italy. So there is something that's not working in our country more than in the other, in the distribution stage.
Maybe on the art house or
Yes, yes, obviously for this kind of film, yes.
Yeah, but a small example, Parasite, the Palme d'Or, is going quite well in Italy, but nothing comparing France that had 1 million admissions. So there is a gap also in the audience. Maybe there is something how we are building our audience, I think.
But I think both of you, I mean, yours in Spanish, but yours as well. Although it is, Italian speaking, it is an international film by definition, by the co-production, so it's not, it wasn't made only for the local audience anyway.
No, no.
Yes.
Right? So it's not, it's important for you to distribute, but it's not.
It's no, we are happy. We are traveling a lot. We are in a lot of festivals. We won 4 prizes in Locarno, and other prizes in other festivals, in Mar del Plata, in Argentina. So we are pretty much satisfied about the path of the movie, but it's a pity to not show the movie in your country, in your own country. But yes.
This is probably the next panel.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too. Thank you.
You.